Hey, it's Ken. Whole Food 30 Challenge, day 26. Uh, so today was the end of the beach trip. Came back home. So it was a lot of packing and unpacking and moving and cleaning and blah blah blah. So a long day. On a whim, I decided to do the weigh-in today because I forgot to do it beginning of the week, and lo and behold, day 26, and I've lost 21 pounds. Uh, for a big guy like me, 21 pounds is not as impressive as a smaller person, but it's not nothing, and I guess it's on my way towards a respectable weight. So that's kind of exciting. Uh, I think that's pretty much it for the whole 30 thing. I think I've been slipping on the food as far as telling you. I'll say that maybe at some point down the road it'll eventually become an easy thing to do. But days like this is just it's rough. I made breakfast this morning and it was hash with a bunch of vegetables in it. I had some vegetables in it. It was eggs and bacon. So it was a good breakfast. Uh, no lunch. I mean, I had a couple of pieces of roast beef, and that was about the extent of it. And then my wife actually made paleo pizza type thing tonight, which is delicious. So, not the right amount of food, not the right amount of time, but overall not death and no temptation to veer off course. That's a good thing. I guess the other thing is, I want to sort of talk to all the fatties out there who are, contemplating doing this, excuses why they can't do it. And you know what? I used to be one of those people. I'm not there by any stretch. But I will tell you from one fat person to another, all your excuses are excuses, and you don't have better excuses than me, right? Or anyone else. Look, my excuses were the best, right? When I was younger, I used to live in a car, literally, for longer than I want to admit, and even a longer period than that. I didn't know if I was going to eat again, not when, if. So whenever I got to eat and actually got food, I would eat as much as I could. And that was my excuse. Hey, look, I have this really sad story. I used to be so poor I couldn't eat, and when I could eat, I only could eat until I was full, and so now I'm only comfortable when my stomach's over full. And that's how it was back then. Back then, for me, a massive meal. I'll never forget. I got a part-time job at McDonald's. It literally probably saved my life. McDonald's saved my life because when you got a part-time job, you got a meal. I never had that. I hadn't had a meal every day in ages at that point. And I'll never forget the first time I sat down. It was a dollar menu, so I got a cheeseburger, a small fry, and a Coke, and I gorged. And at that time, I remember being frustrated. I literally broke down crying. I was frustrated because gorging for me was half of the cheeseburger, not even half the fries, and the Coke. And then I worked hard because that's what I do. I work all the time, and I got more money. More money meant easier access to food. And so what did I do? I would keep eating until my stomach was bloated. But my stomach being bloated for food suddenly became more and more and more, and then I was eating too much. But anytime I told anyone the story, they were like, "Oh, so you were so poor, that's so rough." No one ever said, "Who gives a crap?" That was then. This is now. How does that affect how you're eating now? You're being fat now. I'm not blaming those people. You lay a story like that on them, and people are going to naturally say things that are going to, be consoling or supportive. But the reality is they're excuses, and that's a crutch. It's an excuse, and who the hell cares? Everyone has problems. Oh, maybe you're too busy. I run 5 companies, literally by myself. 5 companies. Right? I have no support. I'm the sole breadwinner in my house. If I make a mistake, my family's screwed. Give me an excuse you have. You're not going to beat me, or your excuses are not going to be so much significantly better than mine that they're suddenly legitimate. They're not legitimate. They're just reasons why you're not doing what you should be doing. Period. There's nothing else to say about it. Don't make the excuse. It's an excuse. The reality is you're a fat ass. You need to change your fatness, and you need to get back in shape. And we all need to pay attention. You're not full figured as a woman. And guys, I hate to break it to you, but your fat ass beer belly hanging over your low waist shorts It's not sexy to anybody. No one wants to see that shit. Nobody. It's an excuse. Look at yourself. Be honest. Realize what you're doing. Realize you're killing yourself. Realize that you're fat. It's not genetics. It's the fact that you're eating wrong. Don't take the Whole30 challenge if you don't want. There's 4 or 5 of these big diets out there. Pick one that matches what you think you can do better. You know, all you really need to do is cut out the processed food and the simple sugars. They're all the same about that. Eat vegetables. They're all say the same crap. Right? Yeah, mine says don't eat grains. A lot of them don't say that. Some do. That's sort of for you to figure out. But do something. Stop making the excuses. Stop being a fat ass for no good reason. Get your life back. Or get a life. You know, it's not acceptable. You don't have an excuse. You don't have a reason that's better than mine. So far better than mine. That you're suddenly legit. It's not legitimate. I don't want to hear it. No one else does either, whether or not they're willing to say it. So because everyone's nice and kind and I'm not, and I'm fat so I can get away with it, I'm telling you to your face, you're a fat ass. You're the one responsible for you. It is your fault. The only person who can fix it is you. Nobody else. So fix your shit. No excuses. Alright. If I offended you, then you probably needed it. Have a good night.